Oh yes guys, we are here for the start of F1 2020 and this is my first exclusive video on the channel with the brand new game. It's still work in progress, but guys, if you're going to enjoy the video, smash the like button and subscribe if you are new guys for more F1 2020 content dropping over the next couple of days, so hit that subscribe button. But guys, this was my first race on this game and I went straight into the deep end to do a 100% race around the brand new Vietnam circuit at Hanoi. You can see on screen right now we have the brand new grid rundown animations for this year again, which actually look really damn sick. And guys, just a small one, we are limited to 15-minute videos only, which is why this video is within 15 minutes. I've had to really cut this down as much as I possibly can to make this video happen. So here we go, the 5 lights are on at Hanoi and it's lights out and away we go as Lewis Hamilton in the brand new Mercedes, and we're going to make our way down towards the very tricky and very tight turn 1. It's a very awkward corner, very slow, especially when you're in the pack here, and you have to be very careful about keeping your front wing in one piece. Then cutting across through turn number 2, and then we find a little bit of space here, so we kind of slot in on the racing line, and we started this race on the medium tyre, so we're going to be going quite long here today, 55 laps ahead of us, and there's a chance of rain later on in this video guys, so stay tuned for that. You can see in the bottom right we are using the new overtake button right now, and then we quickly disable it. It was something that I had to learn in this race, how to properly really use it, and for this video guys I'm using a custom HUD/OSD layout and also a custom T-cam positioning, so I'll make a video about that later on down the line, nearer to when the game launches, for all of you guys who want settings about certain things in the game, so don't worry about that one. But now here we are onto the first back straight, and it was an absolute massive straight. I couldn't believe how long it goes on for. You can see here now in the back straight, we're going to make it 3 wide here with the Williams and the Haas. We're going to pull to the inside using the overtake button, and we're now going to go very late on the brakes down to this very tight hairpin. It actually catches you out how tight is your full lock through here, just like at Monaco, and even then it's not quite enough, and actually Grosjean goes back around the outside and retakes P15. So for now, we started last, we've made our way up to P16, I believe it was, or 15 to be fair, so it's not been a bad start, and we're now trying to line up this Haas for a move as we go onto the first of the straights here. We're trying to look around the outside, but the Haas holds on quite nicely under braking, and to be fair, I had some pretty positive experiences with the AI. I won't talk about it too much because it's still work in progress and they're still being worked on, but there was a lot of positives that I took from this, and you guys will see it throughout the video. Here we go on the back straight, and we're now using pretty much a bit more overtake, and we're now going to have DRS right about now, halfway down the straight, as we actually run out of DRS. You can see in the bottom right we're pretty much on 5%, so we are out of juice, and luckily we have just enough to get alongside, and we're going to go down the inside of Romain Grosjean here into the hairpin. We're kind of forcing him onto the curb, and that's going to give us P14 in this race, getting a little bit loose there on the exit. We then cut onto lap number 4, and we've got a yellow flag here going on to the back straight, and it's Antonio Giovinazzi in the Alfa Romeo on the right hand side there who's had an issue, and I believe he's out of the race. And just a few moments later, that retirement would actually trigger a virtual safety car, my first one on the game, as we were chasing down Kevin Magnussen. We almost run to the back of him there and almost lose our front wing, but we just about got away with it. As we now get ready for the restart after the VSC, we were actually in a really good position here because we was right behind Magnussen going onto the back straight, and we had a nicely charged ERS battery, so we deployed overtake straight away onto the back straight, and now we wait for the DRS, which comes right about now, pretty much halfway down the straight, and we're going to pull to the right hand side as Magnussen goes defensive, and we're going to try and boost past and make our way down towards the hairpin, and we just about get the racing line, and that's going to give us the position on the Danish driver. We then move on to lap number 8, and we are behind Kimi Räikkönen, and we're going to try and make light work of him once again, using the overtake mode once again, and waiting for the DRS. But you can see this time we're actually gaining even before DRS on the Iceman. We actually run out of ERS though, and run out of juice, and you can see we actually struggle to kind of get past the Alpha as Räikkönen goes up the inside. It's a close one, there's almost contact, and somehow we avoided contact in all of that, but a few corners later at the end of the lap we are going to absolutely send one here down the inside into the penultimate corner, into this kind of tricky hairpin, and we're going to make the move up to P11 now, so making great progress here as we try to hunt down Daniel Ricciardo, who's the next car. He's in the Renault, so here we go onto the back straight once again. It's going to be the only real overtaking spot around this track, to be fair. It's this one and the one before, which is the penultimate corner. Those were the two that I found myself constantly getting the benefit on the AI and kind of making those moves as we make our way up into the top 10. We're now behind Perez, and this was a first for me. Watch what happens here. Perez puts the gas on and he loses the back end, and I run into the back of him. But that was a first for me, the AI losing it under traction, and as a consequence I lost my wing. And now Raikkonen and Ricciardo all over the back of me, they're swarming all over the back trying to look for a move, and we've got wing damage, and I'm trying to sort out a pit stop, and we're being bombarded by cars left, right and centre, and we just have to back out of it. The AI was so late on the brakes into the hairpin, and eventually by the end of the lap we were struggling with understeer, so I decided to bow into the pit lane and strap on a new front wing, and I'm going to go for another set of mediums. I could have gone softs in hindsight, but because I've not done any races on this and I'm not familiar with the track, I didn't know too much with tyre wear either, so I'm going to play it safe and head onto the medium compound tyres. And like I said, we're going to strap on a brand new front wing. There's a first glimpse of the pit animations and the new pit crew with the kind of new shiny visors they've got this year, which I really, really like. And yeah, we're just pretty much waiting for this and we can get underway. It's a 9.1 second pit stop as we strap on a brand new set of the medium tyres. And we're now going to get ready for this very, different pit exit just up the entry. It kind of cuts the track. The exit is the same, so the exit cuts turn 1 and 2. So you'll see now when we get up to speed, you've got to be careful here because you think you can go flat, but you can't. You've got to lift a little bit because otherwise it will catch you out and you will go straight into the wall. But there we go, leaving the pit exit now, and we're going to rejoin just behind Danica Fiat in the Alfa Tauri. And here we go onto the back straight then, lap 11 out of 55. We are 1/5 of the way through this race as we open up the taps a little bit, with the engine mode, and we open up the RS as well, and using overtake mode we're going to pull to the outside and we're going to make a comprehensive move there on the Russian, getting ahead before the brake zone, which was crucial, and we take P18. We're now behind the Williams of George Russell. We're going to try and line out for a move here on the pit straight, actually down towards turn number 1. We're going to try our luck around the outside here. Not much grip on the outside off the racing line, but we try to make it work using the curb on the inside of turn 2 for some extra rotation, hashtag extra rotation there from JD, and we make our way back up to P17. And at this point it was just a recovery drive because the strategy was to go medium soft, but instead I was forced onto another medium as we make a beautiful move around the outside of Latifi through sector 3. Sector 3 is definitely my favourite part of the track. The S's really, really fun, and I absolutely love them. As we now move on to lap number 17, multiple cars had pit for their scheduled stops, and we made our way back up to P11. And we're now once again behind Kimi Raikkonen as we go through turns 3 and 4, kicking out onto the first of the back straights. This one's a little bit shorter, but still long enough to the point where you can challenge a car here. And we're going to get the run on Kimi, and we're going to send one down the inside into this very tricky Mickey Mouse hairpin combo as we just about get the legs on him and outbrake him nicely. And that is going to give us P10 once again in the Vietnam Grand Prix. And the very next lap was in the back of Esteban Ocon, who's been overtaken by Ricciardo. So both of the Renaults line astern just in front of us, and we're going to try and get past both of them. First of all though, it's the Frenchman, and we're going to try and look for a move here using the overtake mode and now the DRS as we run up towards the hairpin. 340 Ks as we try to look for a space. Both of these guys side by side here, and I have to just back off and watch them battle as we try to find a bit of a space to make an overtake, as Ocon actually makes a beautiful move on Ricciardo and retakes P8. Meanwhile, we're getting the run on Ricciardo here using overtake mode. We're going to go to the outside, but there's no way through into this, and this is a good example of sector 3. I'm trying to look for a move here, but Ricciardo's having none of it. The AI really, really aggressive this year, and we now go for this beautiful flowing section. It's really, really good, especially in qualifying. When you hook it up, the car feels fantastic around here. You've got it underneath you, and we're going to go for the infamous move into the penultimate corner here, getting very close, and now we're going to outbrake Ricciardo down the inside. A little bit of contact, but we make the move stick, and there we go. P9 is ours, and job done. And now we can go back on the hunt after Esteban Ocon, who is in the Renault, who actually passed Lando Norris, to be fair. Lando, I believe, was struggling on his tyres, and he had to pit eventually, and that is going to give us yet another position in this race, and hopefully now we can finally make a move on the Frenchman. And here we go, once again, typical move, trying to line up the exit because traction is quite difficult in second and third gear this year. You've got to really make sure you get it nice and smoothly, and now we're going to make a very simple move here, waiting for the right time to deploy overtake because the ERS uses up really, really quick this year. When you use overtake, you don't have very long with it, so you've got to make sure you use it wisely because it really depletes the bar and it takes a long time to charge it back up. So you've got to really kind of get used to the new dynamic as we make a nice move on Ocon. And we're now P6 as Carlos Sainz makes his stop. So it's been a good second stint on the mediums, recovering quite nicely, making our way through the field. And it was at this point where the clouds then started to form a little bit, and we got our first messages of rain was inbound. So yeah, you can see now we've got Verstappen in the pit lane there for the Red Bull team, Bottas as well. But with the nature of the pit exit, it means that Bottas gets back ahead of us, and Verstappen is going to rejoin just behind us. Even though he looked so far behind on the pit straight, he's actually right behind us now. So quite interesting actually. It really has a unique dynamic, the way the pit entry and exit works around here. It makes it for, I think it's quite a short pit stop to be fair. And the very next lap, Verstappen goes for a very audacious move here. We just cut him off, but eventually he was on, you know, fresh off tyres. He was too damn quick. And onto the back straight, I used some overtake to try and stay in front, and to be fair, the straight line speed was pretty good. And you can see Verstappen all up in my mirror here, but eventually with the DRS he does make the move. I've now run out of ERS deployment, so I'm going to give this one up. You know, we ain't got the pace for this, unfortunately. Verstappen's much quicker on those soft tyres, and we just have to yield and accept defeat. And the very next lap, Alexander Albon was also very quick, and he was even quicker than Verstappen. So I thought to myself, you know what, no point fighting this. We actually turn the engine down, pull over, and let him get on with it. And the reason being is because I wanted DRS on the back straight, which is what I got, and it just helps keep the pace up. We eventually skip onto lap 36 though, and you can see now it's got very dark here at Vietnam. The rain is starting to fall, and the pace is slipping away a little bit now, and I was struggling on these tyres now. They were quite worn. I did a very long stint on these, and it was all about just looking at the skies, waiting for the weather. You can see Albon now is about 20 seconds ahead, as on lap 42, I've had enough of these tyres. I'm going to peel off for a set of inters. I could have gone for one more ideally, but my tyres just had no more laps in them, like they were done, so I had to pit and accept maybe a bit of pain on the inters at first, but we just had to get out of the way because I didn't have another lap left in these. And also Sainz was behind me on the soft tyres. He was catching me, so yeah, we're going to pit. Surprisingly, we got a front wing change. I've watched the footage back. I didn't clip on front wing, so I'm not quite sure what happened. It must have been a very light brush of the wall that I didn't even notice, because I was convinced I had no damage and the car felt fine. So I'm not sure what happened there, but another slow 9-second pit stop, as we're currently down to P12, as we're now going to take the pit exit. And again, the nature of this means that we are going to get right back into the thick of it, and we almost run a bit wide there, just, you know, going a bit too hot, but we do get back ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, which is good. So we rejoin P11 on the inters, and we're on the cusp of points with no more stops in this race, as it's going to go to the finish now in these conditions. And at the end of the lap, you can see here we've got a few more cars pitting. Also worth noting, the rain light this year has changed. It's a bit more like the real life one, so it flashes a lot more, which I really like. It's a nice little touch, but adds to the realism of the game. And we then move on to lap 44, and eventually most cars at this point had pit for the inters. We're now behind Sergio Perez, and it's Mercedes 2020 versus Mercedes 2019 as we get very close to the wall. Perez giving me a massive squeeze, but we are going to make the move here on the inside into the heavy brake zone as DRS gets disabled, running in a little bit hot there, but we just about get the car under control, and we move up into 7th place. At this point, the rest of the cars pit for intermediates, including Carlos Sainz. Let's see where he is though. There is a Williams even the pit exit. I think Sainz is going to be really, really close with us here as we go through turn number 2. Who's going to come out in front? It's going to be Sainz, just by a fraction, so we're going to have to get past him once again. We get very, very close there into turn 3, and we almost lost our front wing, but luckily we didn't. And then eventually at the end of lap 45, we're going to line up a beautiful move here on the McLaren driver. My first laps in the rain, and I was feeling pretty confident. The car was working well, and you could feel the Mercedes was a good car in these conditions. You can see as well in the top left, the gap to Alex Albon is 20.1 with 10 laps to go. And I went on an absolute tear. This stint was incredible because the gap went from 20.3 all the way down to 2.6. And you can see Albon right there in front of us on the last lap. We caught up 18 seconds in 10 laps. Like, the pace was incredible, and 2 more laps and I could have had it. But in the end, we are going to cross the line in P6. And there you go. That was my first race on this game, a 100% race around Vietnam. I apologise for talking a lot in this video, but it's tricky to kind of keep this within 50 minutes and kind of get out all the information that I wanted to say. But hopefully you guys appreciate it. I tried to get in a few cinematics as best as I could. You'll see here now in a minute Leclerc, who won the race. You're going to see the new celebration, and also worth noting some other things in there. But here's the celebration you can see for the race win. Really, really love that. And also what I want to mention real quick is the clothing. You see the mechanics that they're wearing short t-shirts, jackets as well. Lots of little changes this year. I really like them. A lot of small details that if you notice, you pick them up. But guys, that is going to be it from me here today. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and subscribe if you are new, guys, for more F1 2020 content. There'll be plenty more coming out over the next few days, so do get subscribed for that, guys. And that was Vietnam. Give me your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, guys. And also finally check out the 2 videos that will be on your screen in a minute. But guys, that's it from me here today for the Vietnam Grand Prix, and I'll see you all very soon for another F1 2020 gameplay, which I'm very much looking forward to. But guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time.